Hello YouTube, it is Damien. It is a new episode of a brand new save. It is basically a YouTube only save, and today we are going to be embarking on what I think will be a very fun journey. I'm going to talk about what's inspired me to do this save first up, and why I did it the way I have, and then explain what club I'm choosing and as why. We, have been watching a lot of Champions League, that is of late, and I'm going to be trying uploading videos as close to daily as possible with this save being it's a YouTube-only save. Also important to note that today is the 11th of March. I watched Liverpool this morning get through against Leipzig. Beautiful. But also more importantly, yesterday I did witness a Juve side that I have very close to my heart, being an Italian. Not saying that I go for Juve in Italy, but I love to see an Italian club do well in the Champions League. Get knocked out by Porto, and there's a lot of questions that are being asked about one of my favourite Italian players of all time, Andreas Pirlo. Mr. Pirlo, I really do hope in real life gets a bit of time. It's a rebuild. I think there's somewhere in the press where it says that he stated he was brought in for a rebuild, and if that's the case, you give a manager like that time in order to do what they need to do. Obviously, that Juve squad is very strong. But it's a very aging squad, and I was very tempted that in my spare time, if I could sim till the end of the Champions League first knockout round and find Juventus have fallen by the wayside, I would take the job. However, on Football Manager, it's not just like real life. Obviously, they've got Ronaldo, they've got Dybala, they've got quite a squad to Juventus, and they have just knocked out Olympiacos in the first knockout round. They are currently second, I think, in the league. And I was like, oh, that's a shame because I've done all this simming after work here on the 11th of March. What am I going to do as a save offline and a bit for YouTube? Let's talk about who I'm going with. There is a team that is very well known in world football, and a team that should be doing a lot better than what they are. They are currently just been knocked out of the Champions League. They are currently out of their, domestic cup competition, and they are also 32 points off the league leaders in their table. That team is on screen, and that team is a team that I do heavily support in Germany. It is Dortmund in the Bundesliga. They are currently have got some crazy regens. It gives me a chance to use I can never present the young kid that's just been updated on Football Manager, Moyo Coco. He is unreal. I know Paulie, my friend, has him in his save, I do believe, at Marseille. They spent big money on him there to get him in. I haven't chosen Dortmund on this reason. I've chosen Dortmund for other reasons, but this is the byproduct of choosing Dortmund. I haven't officially taken the job. I am going to add myself in as the manager, though, and not my current, profile that I have loaded here, which is called Retire Me. Second reason why I'm taking the Dortmund job, if you go to all their staff, interim head coach. So they're currently looking for a manager. It is an appropriate time, the day after they got knocked out by Barcelona in the Champions League. We'll recap all this when I become Dortmund manager. That it just makes sense in the game cycle to take them on board. Lastly, more importantly, in the Bundesliga, they are absolutely having a horrid one. They've already lost 11 games this season. 11! As you can see there, a lot of 2-1s, 1-0s, 3-2 losses. Only been beaten by 2 goals twice. That was by Frankfurt away and Berlin away. It's a very good save, this one. And also, to be fair, Hertha Berlin not having their best of year either. But the big story here is Dortmund only have 38 points in 25 games. And they find themselves a fair way off Bayern, obviously, who haven't lost a game at all this year. But also, more importantly, they find themselves a little bit outside the, the top 4. Champions League could be a very hard task from this part. If Wolfsburg, who knocked them out in the, what's it called here? The DFB Cup. What's it called here? DFB Pokal second round. Wolfsburg knocked them out. Pretty tough tie in the second round, of course. But this is something that we will definitely go and talk about a little bit more. I am doing this save mainly because the stream's been amazing. Don't get me wrong. Community on stream, really do rate. Links down below. And if you like this as an idea for a YouTube save, give it the thumbs up in the video. More importantly, the reason why I'm doing this is that in my own time, like this afternoon, I don't want to touch SFB until I get on stream. I want something else to play. Second reason is I do think that YouTube is underperforming just a little bit. I reckon it would be really nice to have maybe a dedicated YouTube save just to get the YouTube a little bit more out there for Fm22. But more importantly, it allows me to have a second project. Well, I'm looking for maybe a bit, a more higher paying job. And I've obviously got my hours that are limited due to coaching, real life coaching, and as well in life. There we go. I coach in real life. I coach on FM, and I've got the time on my hands. Let's do a bit of a shorter term save. The goal for the save would be pretty straightforward. If you look at the Bundesliga, Bayern have won it since 2011-12. They have won, and they're going to win it again this year, right? Because they haven't lost the game. I think the immediate goal would be, can we build a Dortmund side that is slightly aging in areas? We'll talk about it a bit more when I am manager. And win the Bundesliga. I think that would be one goal. The second goal will obviously be, can you win the Champions League? But I'm kind of hoping that when I take the job, the board go, you know what, we want Europa League football. As much as if it does happen to finish 4th or 3rd, we finish like 5th or 6th, go into the Europa League, win the Europa League, right? And then can maybe win the Champions League. Now, the Europa League's optional, and winning the Champions League would be great. But for me, in terms of this save, I would keep it a bit more short term. It's about building a team that can go gun-ho after Bayern. I feel like we've always done long projects on this channel. I feel like to, get the people interested on my YouTube. Let's do a short-term save of a club that people love. Have a bit of a rebuild aspect to it because there is a team in the database that are having a poor time, which is Dortmund. And I feel like it's a really good challenge to have. Now, if you guys are excited for that, please go and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new, and let's get into it. Let's go put myself as Dortmund manager. Let's talk about the squad. Let's see who they've brought in over the AI's brought in over the transfer periods, and let's see what we can actually do. Let's see how long it was going to take us to win the title. Maybe it won't be short term. Maybe Bayern are too good for the next 5-8 years, or maybe we can do it in 2 or 3. Who knows? Let's go find out. I'll see you guys in a second to officially start the rebuild with Borussia Dortmund here in Germany. I'm looking forward to it. Are you? Hopefully you are. And I think this could be a lot of fun. Here we are, YouTube, officially Dortmund manager. We can add now Dortmund to the multiple amount of clubs that we have, managed on the channel. We can add them to the Sunderlands, the HKs. Let's just keep it with the main saves that we've had, the SFBs of the world, and of course Mess. Now we can add Dortmund as well. This is where I want this to be a bit more interactive. Let me know in the comment section if you're watching this. Where do you think we are going to finish in our first season here, considering the table? And you just saw it briefly. We'll show it again. But more importantly, how long will it take me to beat Bayern to the title? I'm predicting 3 seasons. You give me your prediction below if it's going to be less than that, more than that. Who knows? Maybe you believe it could be next year. I think it's going to be a matter of getting the players in, and this counts as season 1, by the way, so next year will be season 2, season after be season 3. I reckon it's getting the players that we want in next year, bleeding them in, get them playing some good football, and then that 3rd season, disregarding Europe, we can go for the title, of course, is what my theory is. Anyway, there's a lot of history there for the club. Everybody knows that Dortmund are pretty good. Out in the second round, as you can see, knocked out in the first knockout round, runners up in the Super Cup, currently sitting 8th. Be very interesting to see what the board think. Now, look, you look at this team, and I'm loving that we've got this team here as well, because Garcia is joining City, which is a shame. Of course, we've got some loans in as well. No one here that I really know too much. Renier, we know, is on loan from Real Madrid. He's really good. But you're looking at this team here and you're going, yeah, there's people that I haven't ever used on Football Manager that I really want to. Haaland being one. Emre Can, I'm really, really glad to use. Ex-Liverpool player. I like Can at Liverpool. I think he could be really good. But me, I've never used Sancho before ever. I've always done long-term saves. I've never used these world-class players before. So Sancho's another one. Haaland, Marco Reus have a lot of time for. Same with Witzel, same with Hummels. I think this would be really good. But there's also room to put my own spin on the team, and you'll see why that is in a second. As you can see here, we're not being judged. We are not being judged for the rest of the season. That is really nice. Now, I'm not going to say that I am going to doctor some games, but if the opportunity comes, and it comes in the last 3 games or so to go, and we are behind, and we're 5th, and, maybe we need to go perfect to get 4th, or it might come down to the final day, and we need, to win to get, I think for the narrative of this save, it would probably be beneficial if we finished in the Europa League spot. I'm just going to put that out there, and then it gives us the goal to try win the Europa League second season in. Now, I love that a lot of this here. Sign players under the age of 23 for the first team. Do not sign players over 30. I'm not a big fan of that. Signing German players, I get that. I think that's really nice. Playing entertaining soccer, obviously. Signing people for the under the age of 18 for the future. So we can scout some 16-year-olds. That sounds really nice. We're within a payroll and we're not being judged on anything. Next season, they want us to qualify for the Champions League. And by the 2024-25 season, they want me to have won the Bundesliga. I'm liking this already. The board and me are on the same page. Short term, 2024-25. Let's go win it. I believe we can. Work towards winning the Bundesliga. I love this. They want me to qualify for the Champions League next year, though, and that's perfect as well. We are going to go next here as well. I think we're going to... I haven't done this in, obviously, 13 seasons, if the game wants to. Yes, and send me an advice report from the coaching staff. We'll have a look at both. Why not? Of course, as well. It's something that maybe I'll do my own time, but we'll click through, unlike with my stream saves where I kind of just, would go live and whatever. Expect the YouTube save to be a bit more cuts, have a little bit more action-packed, but a lot more here as well. As you can see, I need to sack my other manager now as well, resign him as well. But look, we look pretty good. They hire me, which is great. People's contracts in the last years, of course, as well. No one really here that we need to really deal with, which is good. Playing time expectations for next season. Renya, what a wonder kid. The American's going to be unreal as well. Fringe players, Jude Bellingham, regular starter. These are guys I never get to use. So this is so good to have a team like this. And I'm telling you right now, we are going to be starting... Pasalak used to grow into an unreal player. I'm telling you now, we are going to be starting feeding these boys into the first team. That is interesting, the fact that my coaches do not rate him at all. Because he used to go really well. And saying that, look at this, right back, straight off the bat. We need a right back. This is really good. We look to the good youth facilities, of course we do. We obviously got all this sort of stuff as well. We got the club vision, and we're going to accept the current vision, of course, because I was really happy with it too. But yeah, and look, we have first games in 2 days against Cologne, and I think that is unbelievable. I don't think today is going to be a day of playing a game, but what I'm going to do is I reckon we're going to go in and straight away in the Bundesliga, I reckon next episode, let's hit it running. Now let's look at Dortmund's actual results leading in. So pretty poor form since coming back in Jan. It looks like, a couple wins to start with, which is always nice after a friendly. But as you can see, they were knocked out here, and then they got drawn in the Champions League first round. They did beat Barcelona at home, but they did obviously get knocked out there in the first Champions League knockout round. Important to note, Juve, who I wanted to do it with, they got through. They're looking good. I'm saying that Inter have been amazing in the league, and you know what? That's quite resembles real life. Also, if you go back to Dortmund here, important to note, they were drawn in Group H, and they topped their group and ran into Barcelona. So I know how that feels, because what was Barcelona's group then if they got done? Just casually. Barcelona finished second somewhere. They finished second to Atlanta. That's a bit interesting. Lost to Atlanta home and away. That probably would sum up why. But, yeah, obviously, if you're Dortmund then and you're Dortmund's boss, they might have had a boss change before then. Might have been the interim coaching. You're probably a bit unlucky that you're like, hang on a second. I thought we did really well, and we are now out against Barca. I know how that feels. Don't worry. SFB topped the group, ran into Real Madrid, who won the Champions League. Important to note, financially, we look really good here as well. We've got a bit of money there. We've got 28 million in the budget. Next season's going to be 53 million, 2.5 million in the budget. You compare it to my long-term save in SFB, I haven't even got 1 million in the budget. Total. Not being spent, just total. This is insane. For me, this is brilliant. Now, what I am going to do here is that we're also going to have a look who's on international duty. We got an international duty straight away. That's pretty cool. We got Renya on international duty. You know what I'm going to do? I will give you the Cologne game. Why not? First episode, we're going to play Cologne. We're going to see how we go. First game in charge. We're going to come up with a system. And we're going to just cut and chop and change and talk to you about what the system is in the team and etc. etc. Before we get into that, important to note, we haven't picked our team here. Look at the age of players here. Piszczek's leaving. Hummel's 32. Witzel's 32. Royce is coming to the end of his years. Berkey's 30, which is not bad for a keeper. Thomas Delaney's 29. Munier's 29. All of a sudden, you've got players that are, aging. We've got a few players here that look really good as well, but any of these really good? Dan obviously is. Dan's pretty good as well, but there's people here that, there's some people that we have to maybe transfer list. There's some people we have to go and replace, and we'll see exactly where we'll line up with that. In terms of the dynamics here at the club, top influences are Royce. Piszczek is leaving, and obviously Hummels as well is vice-captain, Royce is captain. And the rest of the boys have got quite a good core of highly influential players, as you can see there. But it'll be interesting to see what what they say is our best and everything like that as well. Been quite wasteful is what they're saying, which is fair. And look, if we've been average but wasteful, and Bayern been average and clinical, it's probably not 32 points of difference, but it's difference nonetheless. Important to note as well, if you go to the club info, Haaland's probably your best player, and I can never pronounce it, Mokoku is the hot prospect here, and I can't wait to use him. He'll be in and around. He is somebody that I think should be playing up top personally, but he's also somebody that could play out wide. Anything else really to say here before we get into it? Not really, no. I'm going to go and pick a tactic here. I don't know what I'm going to load up here or create my own or whatever, but we'll get into that as well. What I'm going to do, YouTube, is I'm going to cut away now, and we're going to come back on the day of Cologne. We're going to talk about the squad a little bit more, who I've picked on my first ever match day here at Dortmund as well, and we can see how we will go against Cologne, and then talk about what my next episodes are going to be, maybe where I think we should finish for the season. To be fair, I'm going to say it right now, even though we're a fair few points off, it probably depends on how good Wolfsburg are. I think we could still sneak fourth. However, how many games are there in the Bundesliga? It's not as many as I think, is there? Rules. It is 34 games, so not 38. I still think you could finish fourth. I definitely see this as we have to finish inside the top 7. We have to finish probably inside the top 6, but we'll wait and we'll see. But yeah, that's the kind of goals for this. And I'll be back with a tactic, with a team, and we'll see what we are going to go with here. This Dortmund save is going to be unreal. If you're enjoying episode 1, give it a like, and I'll see you guys in a second. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, YouTube. It is time for our first ever game here in episode 1 of the rebuild here with Dortmund. And we have got a massive game to start it off with. Cologne currently sit 5th, and we are a fair way behind them. However, we can obviously get close to the boys around us. As you can see, Bayer 4 have already played a game and are on 45 points, so it's important for us to win this game to stay in touch with them. We're a fair way off considering it's 34 games that are only played in Germany. It's important to note the board don't have any expectations, but it's a nice place to be at, and hopefully we can play the youth for the next foreseeable days. Now, if we look at the transfers in terms of what's going on the outs, there's people joining everywhere else. Camille was going one place to Wolfsburg. Eric's obviously off the City, which people know, and Emmanuel is going off the PSV. But more importantly, in terms of transfers made here on the game, there's people that have gone on the outs. Maxim Phillips gone to Moscow there on the 9th of the 8th. Everything else there, Julian Brandt's gone to Bayern there as well, on the 23rd of the 9th. But the big one there the only one in January is obviously that's gone on loan there. Important to note, the AI did bring one in January. Frederic Andre he looks like decent backup at left back, but doesn't look overly great. If that's the signings Dortmund were making, then problems. They also brought in Sander in as well. Pretty well-rounded player, but not a guy that I would probably use too much unless we went 2 up top. Jamie's come in as a youth prospect. Expect to see Jamie play some sort of minutes towards the end of the save. The loan deal for Ranier, I can see why they've done it, but he's not nice. I'm not a big fan of loans when you're this big of a club. You may as well buy the players that you have. But look, transfer-wise, not too much done on the window or in the windows by Dortmund and the AI, but it leaves room for me to do stuff, and that's great. Also important to note that I've chosen the 4-2-3-1 that I have used at SFB most times and not, because it does fit the squad. I don't have an inverted wing on the right-hand side. It looks like that Dortmund squad as a whole lacks at right-back. It also looks like you do lack at centre-back and at right mid. So it lacks at right mid. It also lacks at right-back. And it can lack at centre-back in areas. Important to note, we do have some injuries. Axwell, his name is like Dan Axel Zagadou. The Axe, as we could nickname him, is there and looks unbelievable. Was that my first nickname of the save? We'll try and limit the nicknames. Important to note, Royce is also away as well he's someone that is also an influential player here that I would love to use for a season and then maybe put him to the bench and get someone else in. Important to note also, Regnier is currently on international duty, which is why Jude is in the shadow striker role. So a little bit of a makeshift side, but a side that I still think is pretty decent. Away to Cologne will be a difficult game, but it'll be interesting to see how we go and hit the floor running. Your team is Roman Burke in goals. They need a goalkeeper as well. So as you can see, I'm already highlighting some areas. Right back, centre back, goalkeeper, right wing. If we are going to play 4-2-3-1, need a right winger that's left-footed. I might switch it to a 4-3-3. I could definitely... I haven't played 5 at the back ever. I would love to go to a wing-back system at the back with an anchor man, etc., or a diamond. But we'll wait and we'll see, because there's a man on the left-hand side that is called Sancho, and he's really good. Munier, Akanji, I have a lot of time for Akanji, to be fair. I feel like he's great at 25. I know that here the game doesn't rate him too much. If you go to the reports here, and they say that he's a good player with potential to be leading. He just got really good stats for me at centre-back. I could get better centre-backs, but Akanji's not bad. Hummels looks amazing, just isn't as good as what he has been in the past. Still is pretty unreal. Schultz is playing because Guerrero is injured. Should be back come next week, but not too bad there. Witzel in the box-to-box. I've gone a little bit more, less creative, more workman-like in the middle of the park. Witzel's still pretty unreal. Delaney as well. Very good ball-winning midfielder. Got that 16 tackling. You love to see it. I think he's absolutely amazing. I've just put Fulgen Hazard as a winger on support, get him in his preferred role. You've got to remember, we need to get results right now, so it's not point building a system and having it play my way. Let's adapt it a little bit. Winger on support, even though I preferred inverted winger to allow the fullbacks to go, that's fine. Just get him playing his football. Jude in the hole. Jude looks obviously very good there. Important to note, if the game's not happening, I will move to a 4-4-2 variant and try and get it's going to come to me eventually. I'll roll off the tip of my tongue, Mokoku as well. Obviously we should be able to pronounce this world class as a region. Comment below, best region or best updated database player FM's ever put into the game, because he looks nuts. Talking about nuts, this is why we have to play a winged system, is because if you don't play a winged system, why are you killing Sancho? Sancho is unreal, love to see him. Talk about unreal, Haaland up top, and the complete forward role looks amazing, good enough to play complete forward. Very interested to see how he goes. In terms of other results here, Bayern did win, Leipzig did win. Bayer beat Hertha Berlin. We really need Berlin to help us out there. Hoffenheim did win as well, which puts them ahead of us. Important to note, Union Berlin are currently sitting 7th. That's a fair effort by Union Berlin. And we are going to continue on and see how we go. So the assistant's saying that we should have lined up with Piszczek, Akanji, and Emre Can and dropping Hummels. I don't get that. I think they're saying Hummels isn't 100% fit, but I think he'll be good enough for this one here. In terms of the team, though, itself, as listed just here, hopefully we'll be A-OK. We'll get into this one very well. Look, I feel like this is a system that will suit. I do like 4-2-3-1, but at the same time, I do feel like 4-2-3-1 in real life are really good. On FM, it has its moments where it's great, it has its moments where it's not. I just put a system out there that I know can work on its day, and I know that fits the team very well. There is a part of me that wants to go and play a 4-1-3-2. There's also a part of me that wants to go and maybe build into a 5-back or a diamond. But we're going to have to do something about Sancho and everything else. And yeah. Anyway, we're going to go tell them that I have faith in the boys. Obviously, first team to it, they're not going to be too responsive. But in our typical way, we are going to go out there and we are going to go and press. They've got some good players, Straight off the bat, you already know that Dude is okay. He's not great. You straight away off the bat, Timo Horn's a very decent keeper at the level. Marius Wolf's been pretty good for them on loan from me. Definitely a guy that we could look at bringing in, and maybe because he's been good on the game. I've been questioning about him in my pre-game comments that maybe we can do something with him. A centre-back here, I'm already looking at guys that I think I can bring in, right? And Sebastian, I think we could pinch. Ozcan's obviously very good as well, worth a scout too. Look, I think that these guys, there's people here that we definitely can pick up. Jacobs is really quick. Jan Tillerman's okay. But for me, I'm just going to go and see, in terms of scouting, I'm going to do that in my own time. I'm going to do that with, when it comes to the off-season, etc. And for you guys on YouTube, you're just going to get a lot of content at the moment. First few episodes of me trying to see where we finish in the first part of the first season. Special day, I can't wait to get started, obviously, ready for him as well. So now in terms of the matches, I am going to just put the full match in its entirety here in episode 1. There may be times where we might do 4 or 5 matches in an episode, but we'll cut up every match into just the key highlights. But for match day 1 or, the first game of me in charge, we're going to see the full shebang. As you can see, we currently sit 9th. Hopefully we can do all right. Cologne obviously in the 6th, and we need to win this game if we have any real shot of trying to claw back towards the, Europa League spots. But more importantly, we're going to have to set this up as well. More importantly, we need to go to key highlights here. We need to go a little bit quicker with that over there. We need to go to TV. I'm tempted to play 2D, by the way, because, you know what? It's a YouTube save. Right? You guys, Twitch, they love the 3D. I personally love 2D. We're playing 2D. Off we go. In the 2D we go. I love the old school classic 2D because I think it's really, really cool. Comment below as well. 2D, 3D, TV, data analyst. You want me to play on director? I don't know. We're going to go with 3D highlights and 2D, 3D highlights, 2D gameplay. Because personally, when I play, that's what I prefer. Anyhow, 10 minutes in, we've started pretty well, and Hummels is on the ball here, and he fires in the Witzel, Jude Bellingham, in the shadow striker role, a wonder kid. Definitely can be good enough in that role. I prefer him back a line, but it is what it is. Anyway, Kanji wins the header, but only as far as the Cologne, midfielder there. I can't remember who got on the ball now. Anyway, Thomas Delaney on it there. Schultz doesn't get back on it. And we look like a team that has quality, but also at the same stage, 10 minutes in, we also look like a team that, Haaland gets there, does well. Jude Bellingham, hold that fort, what I was about to say. Sancho now, coming inside. Haaland, first chance, bang, there he goes. He's 18 for the year, and they find themselves currently, we're currently 9th going into this game here. There we are, we picked it off. I was going to say we look like 10 minutes in, like a team that has quality, but we don't do the passes. The passes aren't really there at the moment because they haven't learnt the system. And then all of a sudden, with that happening, we did exactly what we wanted. We're going to put this on TV though, the highlights here, and we'll see what we go with this highlight here. Sancho gets on the ball inside the Haaland. Haaland one touch. Haaland ain't going to miss that one, and we are 1-0 to the good. Love to see it. And now we just need to continue in the same vein of form. We've dominated the ball to start with, and hopefully we will continue on. And if we have any realistic hope of making top 4, getting 4th, getting Wolfsburg, we probably have to win every game from now on, I would imagine, is the goal. And we're good enough to. 30 minutes played. We're not really on the ball, and it's a corner here to Duda, ball in, headed, and just over the bar. It's not a dominating performance from us, but it's a very good performance considering the form that they have been in. Bellingham not really enjoying the shadow striker role, but that's okay. And 45 minutes played, 1-0 to the good. Sancho's picked up a little bit of a knock there. Hopefully that's not a long-term injury or anything like that. Hopefully it's just a bit of tiredness. We'll suss him out right now. But at the moment, not too bad. 50 minutes played. Maybe he's just a little bit tired. There's a few tired boys out there. You've got to remember, they just played against Barcelona. But I need to start hitting the ground running. Not dominating the ball, but hey, we have had the better of the game. We're looking okay. Apparently, Witzel's is 1 card away. There's a few boys out there that are looking a little bit legless, and I am going to make a change. Emre Can's actually going to come in, but it is going to be for Jude Bellingham. And I am going to get Emre Can back this line here. I'm just going to get him in. I'm just going to tell him just a deeper lie on defend, just sit in and play ball. I'm going to stay on the same system, but I am going to tell him just to sit back that little bit and just distribute right now from a bit of a deeper line. Time's still ticking here, 70 minutes played. We don't have the legs to really run this out, but that's okay. And I am going to make my second change. And Koku is actually going to come out here for Hazard. When Koku can play winger wide, it's important to give him game time and grow him. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to get him out here for Hazard. Like for like, just pace off the bench. We might get a second like that. And now it's all about just seeing who isn't going to die too much. Time ticking away here, and it's a highlight here, and hopefully it's ours, but we'll see. We maybe could have started eking off a little bit, starting to absorb pressure. Maybe Haaland's just going to finish. It's game over. It's 2-0, and Haaland scores a second. Something tells me if we're going to have a very good time for the rest of the season, we're going to need Haaland to score a boatload, and he's already got 2. Anyway, throw in there. Mokoku gets on it. Munier first time. Haaland burns his man. And this is the one thing about having a star striker. They usually bury, and Haaland does. It's 2-0 and all she wrote. And with that one there being said and done, I feel like the most important player on the part for me right now is Mr. Sancho. So we are going to do that. And I am going to... Can Schultz play... Yeah, beautiful. I'm going to do that. Get Guerrero back here. And Schultz is actually going to just drop in here as a winger on support, or defensive winger on defend here. Mokoku is actually going to go like that. I'm going to go like that as well. And just play as... Apparently, Mokoku can play complete forward on attack. That makes no sense. As an advanced forward here, and Munier is going to sit in as a wing back on defend. Going to move us here to a little bit more balanced, and I am going to move us to a little bit lower tempo and just time waste a little bit. Take that off if we do play out, by all means, and there we go. I'm also going to tell us the focus play for in the middle if we do get on the ball. There we are. So just going to try and eat the game away here. If we can keep a clean sheet, unreal, and hopefully we can. Looks like we are going to. And on the opening day, with me in charge, a 2-0 win against a rival that is ahead of us on the league, and we are in direct competition with for Europe. So that's really well done. Obviously, that looks a little bit weird of a system to end in, but it just allows me to just shut up shop a little bit here as well and get Guerrero some minutes. But we played pretty well. Sancho had a pretty decent game. But to be fair, if you're looking at the team, we didn't play particularly great. It was more that Haaland just was Haaland. And sometimes that's what you need, a little bit of Haaland magic as well. I'm very interested to also see, before we end the episode, what our average positions was with the ball, Dortmund. And we're going to just go first 60-odd minutes because that's before the change is made. Not bad with the ball, a little bit isolated as Haaland there, but the rest of the team not too bad. Without the ball, pretty compact. I would say these lines are a little bit too stretched for me, but for me, it is what it is. Match day 1, I'm not going to get perfection on the first day. I might get a perfect performance by match day 34, which is the last match day here in Germany. That puts us into the 7, 1 point ahead of Union Berlin, who still yet to play, 1 point ahead of Hoffenheim, who I think have already played. And hopefully, am I correct in that? Yeah, Union Berlin still yet to play and could jump us again. But also puts us only 3 points behind Cologne, and we have a better goal difference than them, which is important. 4 points behind Bayer 04, 8 points behind Wolfsburg. And I think that is a really good start to the first ever episode here in the rebuild here with Dortmund. Now, let's talk about what we are going to do next episode quickly. I already see one game that we definitely have to play. That is Union Berlin and Wolfsburg doubleheader. That works out really well, boys. We're going to come back for a Berlin-Wolfsburg doubleheader. Berlin, obviously, 1 point behind us as things stand right now as we're about to end the episode. Wolfsburg are 8 points ahead of us, obviously, as well. I think that is a perfect second episode for this save. We're going to go out there. We're going to know exactly where we're going to finish after that episode, and we'll leave ourselves 3 games for the final episode of the first season in charge here of Dortmund. If you have enjoyed episode 1, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's the main reason we're doing an offline YouTube save. It's one of the main reasons to try and improve and grow the YouTube channel. Best way to do it, go like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment as well. For all the questions I have asked throughout the episode. More importantly, though, it's a chance for me to just, relax, play a game without the Twitch in front of me, and just enjoy a save by just releasing some sort of content, but also playing FM, because that's what we love to do. From Damien and from Dortmund, that's the end of episode 1 of the rebuild here with Dortmund. Where will we finish? Let me know. I'll see you there next episode. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.